Eminem, The Relentless Rise of a Rap God Part 1. Eminem, born Marshall Bruce Mathers III on October 17, 1972, in St. Joseph, Missouri, is a name that has become synonymous with rap music, controversy, and sheer lyrical brilliance. His journey from a troubled childhood to international stardom is not just a story about music, but also about resilience, pain, and the power of words. To understand Eminem is to dive deep into a tale of personal struggle, artistic expression, and cultural impact that reshaped the music industry forever. Early life, struggles, and hardships. Marshall grew up in a turbulent environment. His father abandoned the family when he was just a baby, leaving him with his mother, Debbie Mathers. The relationship between young Marshall and his mother was often tense, filled with financial difficulties and emotional conflict. They lived in poor neighborhoods around Detroit, frequently moving from place to place, rarely finding stability. School was not a safe haven either. Eminem struggled academically and was often bullied by his peers. One traumatic incident involved a severe beating that left him in a coma for several days, an experience that would fuel his deep resentment and anger, later channeled through his lyrics. Despite his difficulties, Eminem discovered something powerful, an ability to rhyme. At around the age of 14, he began to rap with friends in high school. He would sneak into local clubs and participate in freestyle battles, earning respect for his quick wit, biting humor, and sharp delivery. Hip-hop, a genre dominated by African-American artists, was not easy territory for a white kid from Detroit to break into. But Eminem's raw talent was undeniable, and slowly, he began carving his identity. The birth of Slim Shady in the early 1990s, Eminem adopted the alter ego Slim Shady. This persona allowed him to express his darkest thoughts and frustrations in a way that was shocking, violent, and often humorous. Slim Shady was crude, angry, and unapologetically controversial, a voice that captured both Eminem's rage and his creative genius. He released his first independent album, Infinite, 1996, but it received little commercial success. Critics accused him of sounding too much like other rappers, and the album sold poorly. Still, the project became a crucial learning step, forcing Eminem to refine his voice and style. He doubled down on Slim Shady, a character that allowed him to stand out and provoke reactions. Eminem worked tirelessly at local rap battles, often being the only white competitor, and faced skepticism and ridicule. But with every battle, he earned more respect. His reputation in Detroit's underground rap scene began to grow, and soon he caught the attention of the wider hip-hop community. Eminem, The Life of a Rap God Part 2, The Rise, The Fall, and The Comeback. Eminem's life in the late 1990s and early 2000s was nothing short of a roller coaster. After years of battling in Detroit's underground scene, his big break finally came when he released the Slim Shady LP in 1999. The album was like nothing the world had ever heard before. Raw, brutal, satirical, and unapologetically violent. It introduced the world to Slim Shady, Eminem's alter ego. Songs like My Name Is, Guilty Conscience, and Role Model shocked listeners, but also fascinated them. Eminem spoke openly about subjects that many considered taboo: dysfunctional families, drugs, poverty, and anger. He turned his pain into rhymes, and his rhymes into weapons. The album earned him a Grammy Award and made him one of the most talked about artists in the world, but with fame came controversy. Fame and firestorms. Critics attacked Eminem for promoting violence, misogyny, and homophobia. Politicians and activists called for his music to be banned. Parents worried that his lyrics would corrupt their children, but while critics condemned him, young listeners saw something else: honesty. Eminem was saying the things nobody else dared to say, and millions connected with his brutal honesty. His fame skyrocketed with the Marshall Mathers LP in 2000. It became the fastest-selling rap album in history, with songs like Stan, The Real, Slim Shady, and The Way I Am, cementing his status as a rap icon. Stan, in particular, showed his storytelling genius, a haunting narrative about an obsessed fan that became a cultural phenomenon. Eminem was no longer just a rapper, he was a voice of an entire generation. But the higher he climbed, the harder the world pushed back. Lawsuits, public feuds, and media scrutiny became part of his daily life. His turbulent relationship with his mother and his then-wife Kim became tabloid material. His personal struggles spilled into his music, creating an unfiltered mix of rage and vulnerability. 8 Mile and Hollywood stardom. In 2002, Eminem made the leap from music to film with 8 Mile, a semi-autobiographical movie about a young rapper from Detroit trying to escape poverty through music. The film was a global hit and showed a more human side of Eminem. The theme song, Lose Yourself, became one of his most iconic tracks, winning an Academy Award for Best Original Song, a historic moment for hip-hop. Eminem had now conquered both the music industry and Hollywood, but behind the scenes, his life was spiraling. The pressure of fame, combined with unresolved personal pain, pushed him deeper into addiction. The downward spiral. By the mid-2000s, Eminem was struggling with prescription drug abuse. He became addicted to painkillers and sleeping pills, using them to cope with depression and exhaustion. His weight fluctuated, his health deteriorated, and his music career stalled. The death of his close friend and fellow rapper Proof in 2006 shattered him completely. Proof had been his anchor, his brother in music, and losing him sent Eminem into a deeper darkness. During this time, Eminem nearly lost his life to an accidental overdose. He later admitted that doctors told him he was only hours away from dying. This was his breaking point. Eminem disappeared from the spotlight, leaving fans wondering if his career was over. The road to recovery. But Eminem's story was not finished. In 2009, he made a triumphant return with Relapse, followed by Recovery in 2010. Recovery was a turning point, a raw, honest reflection of his struggles with addiction and his fight to regain control. Songs like Not Afraid and Love the Way You Lie resonated with millions, proving that Eminem was more than just a shock rapper. He was a survivor. The album won Grammy Awards and marked his re-entry into the music industry as a stronger, wiser artist. His words inspired not just fans, but anyone battling their own demons. Eminem had gone from being the most controversial rapper in the world to one of the most respected. Legacy and progress. By the end of the 2010s, Eminem had cemented his legacy as a cultural icon. His technical skills, lightning-fast delivery, and lyrical complexity set him apart from everyone else. He had turned pain into poetry and struggle into strength. His comeback proved that resilience and determination could rewrite even the darkest stories, yet Eminem's journey was still far from over. The next chapters of his life would show how he defended his throne against new generations of rappers, how he dealt with aging in a young man's game, and how he continued to inspire millions with his unfiltered truth. Part 3. The Marshall Mathers LP, Controversy, and Becoming a Global Icon. By the dawn of the new millennium, Eminem had become more than a rapper, he was a cultural lightning rod. In May 2000, he released the Marshall Mathers LP, an album that would cement his place among the greats. It debuted at No. 1 on the Billboard 200 and sold over 1.7 million copies in its first week, making it the fastest-selling hip-hop album in history at the time. Songs like Stan showcased his storytelling genius, creating one of the most haunting tracks ever written about fandom, obsession, and mental health. Meanwhile, the real Slim Shady took playful shots at pop stars, politicians, and the media, making Eminem a household name far beyond the rap world. But it wasn't just the music, it was his unapologetic, rebellious attitude that made him both adored and feared. Parents feared his influence, politicians attacked his lyrics, and watchdog groups accused him of corrupting youth. The controversy only seemed to fuel his fame. Every headline about protests or boycotts boosted his notoriety, and Eminem leaned into it. He didn't just provoke, he thrived on confrontation. But behind the anger and shock value was a man fighting his own demons, poverty scars, family wounds, and the pressures of sudden global fame. 2002 marked another turning point. Eminem released The Eminem Show, once again topping the charts and winning Grammy Awards. Tracks like Without Me, Cleaning Out My Closet, and Sing for the Moment displayed his versatility, humorous, confessional, and reflective. That same year, Eminem took on Hollywood with 8 Mile. The semi-autobiographical film told the story of a struggling Detroit rapper, a thinly veiled version of his own life. 8 Mile was more than a movie. It was a cultural moment. His song Lose Yourself became an anthem of determination, winning the Academy Award for Best Original Song, a first for a rapper. Suddenly, Eminem wasn't just a rap star, he was an Oscar-winning artist, a global icon, and the face of hip-hop for millions worldwide. But success carried its shadows. Fame magnified his insecurities. He battled addiction to prescription drugs, struggled with mental health, and dealt with strained relationships, particularly with his mother and with Kim, the mother of his daughter Haley. Despite his tough persona, Eminem was vulnerable, and his music became his therapy, pouring his battles into tracks that millions could relate to. Part 4. Decline, Recovery, and the Legacy of Eminem. By the mid-2000s, Eminem's life spiraled. His close friend and fellow rapper Proof was killed in 2006, a devastating loss that pushed him further into isolation. His dependence on prescription pills worsened. His health deteriorated, and rumors spread that he might never rap again. For fans, the silence was deafening. For Eminem, it was a near-death experience. In 2007, after a nearly fatal overdose, Eminem realized he had to change. This became his turning point. He entered rehab, fought his addictions, and slowly rebuilt his life. The comeback wasn't easy. But in 2009, he returned with Relapse, followed by Recovery in 2010. While Relapse received mixed reviews, Recovery struck a chord. Songs like Not Afraid and Love the Way You Lie with Rihanna dominated global charts, proving that Eminem wasn't just back, he was stronger, sharper, and more relevant than ever. Recovery won the Grammy for Best Rap Album and sold millions worldwide. Eminem had transformed his darkest moments into powerful music, inspiring countless fans who struggled with their own battles. His ability to openly confront addiction, depression, and failure made him more than just a rapper. He became a symbol of resilience. The 2010s saw Eminem continue to evolve. The Marshall Mathers LP 2013 reminded fans of his roots while showing his lyrical growth. He engaged in public rap battles, including his fiery freestyle against Donald Trump in 2017, proving that he still had the sharp tongue and courage to speak truth to power. Even into the 2020s, Eminem remains one of the most respected and influential rappers alive. He may not chase charts as he once did, but his music continues to inspire, challenge, and provoke. His legacy is not just about record sales or awards, though he has plenty. 15 Grammy Awards, an Academy Award, and over 220 million records sold. Worldwide, Eminem's true legacy lies in his authenticity. He never hid his flaws. Instead, he weaponized them. He turned pain into poetry, struggles into soundtracks, and rage into rhymes. His journey, from a broken home in Detroit to global superstardom, is proof that art can rise from the darkest places. Today, Eminem is a father, a survivor, and an artist whose impact on hip-hop is immeasurable. He paved the way for countless rappers, broke down barriers for white artists in a predominantly black genre, and showed that raw honesty could resonate louder than any beat. As he once said in Lose Yourself, "You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow." Eminem took that shot, and the world will never forget it.